and a very good morning, everyone. And my name is Kieran and a warm welcome on a beautiful sunny morning. This is the final session of our winter webinars. This is number 8, believe it or not. And today we're talking about using AR and VR technologies to help sell arts and crafts. Myself, Kieran Swale, and my colleague Cathal McDonald, and you'll meet Cathal very, very shortly. So this is like a natural progression. We ran one about 4 or 5 months ago, more general, using AR and VR. And today we've decided, because we've got a lot of feedback, particularly from the arts and cultural sector, about how would you use these technologies if you were trying to sell arts and crafts. So that's the reason for this morning's session. A few things. This is going to be a very interesting session. We have, as a team, taken a lot of time to put this together. So you are going to get a lot of practical tips, we think. Also an insight into how you could use some of these technologies in your business. And there are no prerequisites. If I can get it, you'll be able to get it today. So on to today then, a few practical things. In terms of any questions that you have, would you please put them in the chat window? And we have Aisling, Sarah and Brian in the background. Brian's going to be coming into the presentation, but Aisling and Sarah will take the questions and put them to us. And we will address them then at the end of the session. One thing I should say to you is today you will get the opportunity after Aisling does her summary, you'll get the opportunity to come in to a virtual environment. And this is on Mozilla Hubs. My colleague Cathal will push up a link, and you'll be able to go in to a live virtual environment, which will be, we hope, good fun. All right, then on to today. You may take a couple of notes if you so wish, but this presentation is being recorded. It's going to be up on our YouTube channel, and the slides as well will be available for you to download as well. Okay, Sarah, if you would mind moving on to the next slide, please. So a little bit about myself. So I'm a tourism innovation specialist. I've been at Southern Regional College from 2012. I could spend today talking about what I did before that. I'll not. I've supported over 250 businesses. Last year, I had the opportunity of doing a postgrad diploma in innovation and design, thinking that was online through Emeritus. Very, very useful qualification. My own area of specialism, I'm picking up augmented reality and 360 tours and maps and trails and 2D video and a wee bit of 3D video as well. And I'm a conference and event facilitator, and for the last 4 years I've been facilitating the Cross-Border Tourism Conference, which is coming up next month, in April, with the Dundalk Chamber of Commerce. About 3 or 4 months ago, with Cathal's help, I set up the Tomorrow's Visitors podcast, my own podcast, and that's a little plug for that. I'm also registered as a part-time lecturer at Southern Regional College, and I'm a tour guide trainer. We're trying actually to get a tour guide training course up and running at the moment. All right, then, over to Cathal. Cathal, if you want to come in and introduce yourself there.
I can do that. Cathal McDonald, 3D, 2D designer, specialising nowadays in AR, VR, and more specifically web VR. I have a background in digital art, digital painting, so understand the industry, arts and crafts industry pretty well at this stage. More recently, I've been working with SRC as a part-time business mentor, developing new technologies such as what we're going to cover today. So that brings us up to where we are now. We're just going to present some business ideas that I've been trying over the past little while and that do get traction and do get sales. So I hope you enjoy what we're going to show you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. If you move on to slide 3 there, Sarah. Okay, so just a little bit of background, because augmented reality, virtual reality, we haven't put it in the slide, but mixed reality as well, and web VR. These are terms that have come to the fore in the last 12 months during the pandemic, and many people are saying, well, how can I use this to help me in my business? So in a really simplest of statements here, AR overlays digital content on top of the real world. Virtual reality then replaces this reality with a completely new third three-dimensional digital environment. And what you're going to look at later on today is web virtual reality. So this isn't an app-based. The other first two are mainly app-based. Employs the best gaming technology on any web-connected screen. So we're going to be looking at Mozilla Hubs today. Sarah, if you just move on to slide 4 there. So I guess 5 key areas that we're going to look at: using augmented reality to let customers sell art on their wall. So if you're an artist and you're thinking, is there another way for me to sell my products and services? How to show textured or 3D objects to better effect using, this is pronounced FYUSE, F-Y-U-S-E. So that's slightly different than the first bullet point where we're looking at Artbeamer. FYUSE is a different type of application, but very, very applicable. And Cathal will talk a bit more about that later on. Then the second half of today's webinar is looking about Mozilla Hubs, and we have 2 videos. We're hoping that the first one will play, and if it doesn't, I'll talk through that. But Mozilla Hubs, you may have heard of Mozilla before, Mozilla Firefox, but Mozilla Hubs, this is a virtual reality platform where you can build your own world, if you like. You can build an entertainment space, you can build a conference space, an educational space, a selling space on Mozilla Hubs. Cathal in Northern Ireland, I'd probably say Ireland, Cathal is one of the first really to take this forward, and he has a specialist qualification to do that. So if you haven't seen this before working, it's really, really interesting. And myself and Cathal have been taking Mozilla Hubs, and Brian as well, with businesses over the last, really over the last 6 months, more particularly the last 3 then. So then looking at, well, if you had a virtual interactive gallery, how can this help you get sales? So you're going to see some practical insight, and I hope I know you'll enjoy that. And then from an e-commerce perspective, you'll also hear about what are called interactive touch points. So as somebody's walking in a virtual environment, you know, there's interactive touch points, both coming in and leaving and in the space itself. Okay, I think if we go on to slide 5 there, Sarah. Cathal, I'm going to hand over to you at this stage, if that's okay.
Yep. I'm just going to do an introduction to what's called Artbeamer. Artbeamer is an app which is free for a client to use. The idea is, if you just press play on that wee video, if you have a piece of work that you're trying to sell online, it can be a hard slog experience. People can't really envisage what your artwork's going to look like in their environment. Artbeamer is a simple way where you upload your image to Artbeamer site. You then get codes for each artwork. Your client uses the free app, opens it on their phone, types in your code, points it at the pre-printed A4 sheet, and then they get to see your paintings in their wall at very high resolution, much higher than you get on a phone screen or a laptop screen. They can then check if that size or color suits their environment. They can make sure that they can recite it in each wall. So it gives them the freedom to be able to see what your artwork will look like before they try it or buy it. This way you can advise on sizes. They can pick from their whole gallery. And I've found that when you're trying to get somebody to buy your work, if all they have to do is print out a sheet and point the phone at the wall, it really helps them make a buying decision. If you move on to the next slide, I'm just going to show Artbeamer in action. Let me just press play. So what's happening here is there's a sheet on the wall, I could print it from any printer. Again, that's my gallery key going in. And then you just press beam, and it points through the phone, making the augmented reality overlay in the real world of your artwork at real scale in real space. So you can zoom in and out, see all the detail. This is just a little recording of what the phone screen sees. So I find that very useful for getting your point across into a real world situation where people can try it before they buy it, and that keeps the conversation going, and you can keep talking to your clients.
Cathal, there's an interesting point there, just and you have it, and it's in that button where you have also a share option.
Mm-hmm.
You know, say it's for someone, again, so let's say there are 2 or 3 decision makers in buying the art. You can say, well, listen here, I think this would look really well on our wall or on your wall. Here, will you see this? And you have a share button, and that's, I know it's something that you and I haven't really focused on a lot, but I think that's worth saying as well.
Well, the Artbeamer platform is an e-commerce platform on its own, so you've got another sales revenue coming in, and you can embed that in your website. It's really useful too if you just play the next little video. A lot of times, a lot of work and effort goes into choosing a frame. This is given the option. There's the same image with 2 different frames looked at through 2 different devices and 2 different codes. What that means is you can choose between 2 frames, which makes it really easy to make a decision and get the right frame. Because I know from past experience, I've sold stuff, people have taken it home, the frame didn't suit and they've reframed it. Whereas this way, you're saving a lot of time, effort and potentially money getting the right frame before it ever goes to the framer. And I've used that a couple of times to great success, especially if you're selling a series of paintings or even for galleries for creating an exhibition in its own right. So it's the easiest way right now that you can in business to lever the power of AR into your business right now. It's not free, it's subscription based. It's like $9.99 a month, and that gets you, I think it's 10 spaces, but you can change them easily. You can upload, it's simple to use. You just upload your image, enter dimensions, you get a code, and then it's on the app. All you have to do is send that code with the instructions how to print out a sheet, and bingo, your artwork is in the prospective client's home straight away. And it's good, just keeps the conversation going, and it's a good way to retain clients as well, because if you're putting some new stuff up, you just send them an email. You can build up an email list quite easily like that, and people love to be able to see something new, and it definitely gets a lot of commissions and gets a lot of word out there.
I think it's also worth saying here, Cathal, with the artists in the audience, if they've never seen this before, you know, you can build up, and Ashley and Sarah would know this from the social media, you could build up a whole story around this for your business. Oh, by the way, did you know? So if you're on your own Facebook page or YouTube channel, you could build the story about you've just started using Artbeamer. And hey, everyone, why don't you try this out? And even if they're, you know, you could make a trial of some of your art available. And there could be a really, really useful story for you on social media.
Or even like I market it as take my exhibition home with you. All you do is print out that sheet and you've got the full exhibition. And even later on today, when we go into the Hubs room, you have the option of downloading a printed sheet with the instructions on how to see the artwork at any time.
Yeah, excellent.
But that is definitely a useful tool in business right now. And it's the easiest, most powerful way to lever AR into your control from experience.
Okay.
So, and then like if you're interested in any of this, I guess also you'll be able to help and assist with that technology and that project. And happy to share the knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, if we move on to maybe to the next slide, Sarah, for the FYUSE. Yeah, go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, a lot of my own work, while Artbeamer is very good and you can see the work, a lot of my work is textured, heavily textured. If you just press play there, FYUSE is a free app, which you just basically download. It's for 360s, but I've levered it in so you can, this is what's called scrubbable video. It's not plain video. You just drag and move the cursor and you can see the texture in the artworks underneath. So if there's any like textured element to your work or 3D element, which photography and video really doesn't capture, this is the tool, and this could be easily embedded in a website. Just this video just shows a roughly embedded code block. Any WordPress or any site, you can just apply the embed code. So that's a very useful tool if you're doing any textured or 3-dimensional type work.
Yeah, again, another, you could be doing another social media story on it. And I suppose, Cathal, just to like summarize, you made the point there about Artbeamer very much is anybody can get in at entry level. There's $10 a month cost at that.
Yeah.
Just so I'm clear here, isn't FYUSE free? Yeah,
FYUSE is free app, and then just give you embed code for any of the images you've taken on it, and it's very useful.
So you could Artbeamer and FYUSE, you could be operating both these in different ways.
Oh yeah, you use everything you can to get a sale. You know, it's for closing, for showing the textured element to your work better than a video.
Yeah.
Because people, if you're moving the camera around, people just don't really get it. But this way, you have control. You just move your cursor back and forth. You can see all the texture.
Yeah.
And I've had good feedback from it. Yeah. So that could be a very useful tool in your box to get some more sales.
Definitely. Okay, Sarah, I think we're ready to go to the next slide. This may or may not play, so we'll just see. We're going to try and play a video here just before you hit the play button, everyone. Okay, go ahead, Sarah, go ahead. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on AR and VR for the arts sector and how to help arts and culture sector, how to help to sell more art. So in this short demonstration, I'm just going to show you from an introductory perspective what it's like when you come into Mozilla Hubs. This is pre-recorded, and on Friday Cathal will be taking you around, myself and Cathal both will be taking you around a live gallery. When you sign up for an account with Mozilla, this is Mozilla Hubs that I'm in at the moment. So when you walk your way through, you're given the opportunity to create a room, if you like. So the ones that I'm familiar with, and this is why I am on this particular page, are the modular art gallery that you're going to see, the conference room that we've used for the for SRC. We have a conference room there, and I've also used, and Cathal and I've also used the rolling hills. Very good. In the background there, you see this one was shot in I think it's somewhere in Switzerland, the Alps in Switzerland. But you can you're able to, in all of these scenes, include live, or you're able to include like 360 photography, and you'll see this will make more sense to you as we go along. Okay, so if we have a wee look at the Hubs modular art gallery. Thank you. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm now in the gallery space that Cathal has created for this webinar today on Friday. This is pre-recorded, to remind you. So when you land in, I'm signed in here on Mozilla Hubs. When you come into this, space, and the first thing, if you've never done this before, is you need to get used to navigation. And when you arrive here, you'll see you'll be met with this control mechanism explainer of telling you how to navigate. So you can take your time, and it is a WASD, use of getting used to the keyboard. If you're on a desktop, I find this a little bit easier than it would be on a mobile phone. So I'm just going to make my way, and this is me here. I can't see my avatar, and you won't be able to do that, but the little white dot is where I am. I'm making my way now towards the entrance, and you'll see a figure of a man in there, and that's a life-size picture. So now I'm about to enter, and again I'm met with the navigation explainers, and really now what Cathal has put together is his own art in a virtual gallery. So as you can see, this is so realistic. You remember I showed you in the first part of this explainer video the different shells, and now Cathal has put his own paintings in this. So I'm familiar with quite a few of these paintings, and I'm going to make my way down to the bottom here. Yeah, there's a lovely one there. Let's go down to the Clockmore stone. I'll come back to the vase there. So these are Cathal's paintings that he has about 3 or 4 years. We have one of these down in Greenshoots. You see this space here now. On Friday, Cathal will take you through some interactivity on the wall, so you could have a live broadcast within your virtual gallery. And for me, this is where it all comes alive. So for example, if I was a tour guide, and some of you in this workshop will know I teach tour guiding, and I could be here talking to you about the views of Carlingford Loch up from Clockmore Stone. So I can actually take you on a virtual tour. And likewise, you know, there's Newry Market there, and if you go on round and back up there, there's again the Flagstaff. There's a picture of the Flagstaff. So I could be, sorry, beg your pardon. I could be in here talking to you about the Flagstaff, and there'd be a video would appear, and I'll tell you about this one. And then if I wanted to go on over, let me see. Oh, there's me. There's me there, but that's me, and I'm in another browser there. that's me there. Or I could tell you maybe a famous painting you might know up near the Game of Thrones painting there. There's lots of various options. So I guess and there's the land down by Rostover. I guess the point here is you can see how easy this, relatively easy it is to navigate. Now, Cathal has created 3 plinths here, and on this one there's a glass. I suppose it's like really like a glass bowl that he created, a blown glass sculpture, and look how realistic that is. Absolutely amazing. So again, I know Keith is in the audience. Keith, who's a glass sculpture. Keith Shepherd's in the audience, and I think there are other craft producers. But imagine being able to look up in 3D, and then if you click that, you could hear about how the glass was made, or where you can buy it, or how you could pay for it, or how it could be ordered, etc., etc. So for me, this is the simplicity of this. We've been working on something like this for 6 months. So, okay, well, I'll talk to you back in the webinar. Thank you. And the reason for showing that really was that you're going to see a totally different version of this now today in the next few videos, and actually if you come into the live room you're going to see a totally different experience. But we wanted to show you that because there are different scenes, and you will see this does take time to progress, but that really by way of an introduction will give you a flavor of what's coming up. Okay, Sarah, if you move to the next slide, please. So one of the key things to understand is about holding live conversation in virtual spaces. So it really emulates just being in a live environment. So when you come closer to someone, you can play the video now as we're talking, Sarah. If you come closer to someone, you'll be able to hear them. So the closer you are and the more proximity, the better the sound, and the further you are away, the less you'll be able to hear. So if you spot somebody in a virtual environment in their avatar in the corner, as you're walking over to them, you'll be able to hear them and hold conversations. So, I mean, it's, I guess this little short video helps to explain that, and it'll probably not be until you're actually in the room that you'll fully get it. Okay, Sarah, the next slide, thanks. So at this stage then, I'm going to hand you back to Cathal, and you're going to see, I think, Cathal, we might even have Brian in here. I have a suspicion we might have. Go ahead, Cathal.
Yeah. So this is basically a screen recording of an avatar in action inside the room. So basically, you come in as an avatar, which is meant to be friendly and fun, and basically it's GDPR compliant. There's no names collected, no data collected. You can change your name and your avatar, and as you progress through the space. But at this point, it's just to show you interacting with the space. I can actually share. This is my webcam from my studio. That's a client in the space looking at one of my paintings. I'm explaining what it is, giving the background, haggling a price, whatever happens in the real world at this juncture. So the avatar is there. That's your client. They're looking at the paintings, and they can actually see your face, which means a lot of difference. And then you can share your screen if you want to show them another painting, show them what you're working at, show them anything at all, a video, anything that's on your screen you can share. So that keeps the conversation going. You're talking in live time, in live space with a client or clients. The power of it is amazing because you can arrange to give a curated tour to an individual or a group. Here's a group of people in the space. They all come in with different avatars and have different names. As again, you can change your name to your real name if you want, but these are talking in real time, real space, and it's a bit of fun. It's interactive social media, but around the spaces there's embedded lots and lots of backlinks and web links, so it's an interactive e-commerce site. You walk around and have social interaction. There's all your social links are all embedded, and any link at all you want. So this can open to anything outside of the room itself.
Cathal, there's a lot of movement going on in that there. You'd nearly think there was music in the background there. Those avatars look as if they're dancing.
Sure, it's all right. You can have lots of music in here too. You can have live music in the space if you want for like a gallery opening, which has been discussion with. Because they've used this technology in a few emulated a few bars, like if you can do, say you're a gallery, you could have an actual copy of your physical space gallery, whether that's through an AutoCAD drawing or a 3D LiDAR scan, and then you can have your exhibitions virtually in tandem with your real gallery when they get a chance to reopen post-pandemic.
I think if I can come in there, when you had the video of yourself in your own studio in Uri, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I think that's a real that's so useful. So back down at the space there where your own sunflower is in the Clockmore Stone, and I use the so I'm anywhere in the world basically in another destination. I use America, but because I know you spent time there, I'm in New York. And I want to buy your painting. So I was an acquaintance or a friend of yours from 20 years ago, and I actually want to see you again, but I want to talk through it. Or I've heard about you. And it's just that live video from you're authentic, you're a real artist from your studio. I think this is the thing, you know, that's powerful, Cal, powerful.
Yeah, and like you can give live updates to clients, to new prospects, and especially at the moment, like people are starved for conversation. And you end up in the same syndrome. You can't get some people off the phone and you're talking away and talking away. So, well, it's good. Like it's working for me. This is the third one of these I've done. Like you can do individual, like I have repeat clients, and one wanted a gallery made up or a space made up for a virtual party with all the artworks he's bought of me in it. So that was quite nice. But the thing that count here, if you just go on to the next little video, it's a powerful sales tool. This is a gallery that's open 24/7. So say you're walking up, it's got virtual gallery cards like you would in a real gallery. That is a link that just, I have it bringing just to my homepage, but that could be buy now, that could be your WooCommerce site, that could be in just any URL you want to buy from. So that's open 24/7, and you can have videos embedded giving guidance. But that's the ticket to take away. It's a website that you walk around, and it's interactive, and you can have 40 of your friends and having a bit of fun, or you can have an educational type setting where you have a big screen, you're broadcasting to a number of people. But the application for arts and crafts industry is amazing right now. Some of the plinths in the middle that we'll show later on, that could be, you can make up actual 3D scans of, should it be pottery or whatever your 3D medium is, and embed them in the site at real scale. And have a link to the website to buy. So the whole gallery can be embedded in your website. It's just a simple code block, and the whole thing is there on your site. You can have your front page you want. You can also have it secure. You can set it so you have to enter a password or enter a security key. There's lots of options.
On that, could you have so the way you would pay into an actual gallery, you know, could you have this as a paid experience?
The answer to that is yes is the broad answer, but just paid access to a site. But the thing of it is, the room, you can open a room, have it open for an hour and close it. That URL is dead forever, but you can recreate that room through the underlying free open source software. This whole thing is free and open source. There's no apps to download for the end client. There's no app licenses for you to buy and pay for yearly. I've been in Unity for a couple of years now, and Vuforia, a couple open different Apple stuff over the past year, and they all cost money for a license for just using for a year, and then the update is phenomenal. Whereas this way, it's free, open source. All the bits you need to make your own room right now are available on the Mozilla Spoke website. They have elements that you could conceivably put together a room, have your artworks in it, and start launching it within a matter of days.
I just say in our own team, we are upskilling on that. Yourself and Brian and myself, we're all upskilling on this at the moment. So yeah, again, in today's audience or anyone listening to this post-event today on a pre-record, this is something that we could help with. Yeah.
And the platform itself has come on leaps and bounds in the past year.
Yeah.
Just at the end of January, there was a new whole core code relaunch.
That's right.
And it's phenomenal what you can do in it now. So you're coming in at the right time for this. There is a need for it. It does work. And if you need any help or assistance, just get in touch.
Okay. We're ready for the next slide?
I think so.
So before we come to Q&A, Brian, if you have your microphone on there, Brian, you were in briefly there, we saw, and from your own background as an IT and tourism specialist, IT, and well, you're many specialists.
I think you're the tourism specialist, Kieran.
Yeah. Well, you're coming into tourism as well, a man of many hats. Brian, I mean, what do you think about this? What's your take on Mozilla as an option for artists? What do you think?
A long time ago, there was a system called Second Life, which, as far as I understand, still exists, and it was very complex to get into. It was very hard to set up, and it was very bandwidth hungry. This is much easier, much simpler to use, and much more accessible because it's just straight through the browser. I think that the addition of bots that can actually do something to explain the videos, explain the artwork, and more realistic avatars that we've already played with. And Cathal didn't let me show my fancy avatar in the video, but we might get to see it later. Actually makes the experience it's not as good as being in a real gallery, but it is almost better in some ways because you don't have to pay to get in and you don't have to travel somewhere to get into it. It's just there, and it's there anytime, middle of the night. Can be selling your artwork. The fact that you can display artwork in tremendous resolution and with great detail, with great fidelity is amazing too. And so the one question I have about it really is the technical requirements to get started with it. But Cathal, as he's already said, it's not difficult if you're a developer, and if you're not a developer, there are people out there, including ourselves, that can help.
Next. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Cathal.
Yeah, even the components. This is all built before Hubs. There's another level. It's called Spoke, so it's free to join, free to play with. They have elements, and you can download anything you like from Sketchfab and employ that in your build. It's great to get into, and it's not. While it looks daunting, it's basically Minecraft for grown-ups. That's the best way to describe it. And you can employ a tremendous amount of leverage, tremendous amount of power, and there's no app for your client or you to download, no licensing fees. It's free, open source. You need to invest your time, but you will get that time and investment back because it's a USP. Nobody else says, this is what you can do. And if you can get people in, and it's a great social media generator, you can make videos easily enough and create social media content.
Just on the social media front, we won't go another question there, but just on the social media, so the visitors book idea, when we go into the environment, when we go into the virtual environment, the visitors book is great. And I see that you had 4 as you were entering and more exiting the your exhibition there.
Yep.
You had 4 options. I think it was YouTube, subscribe, you had Twitter, Facebook, and I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah, Instagram, any social media, you can have your backlinks established in the gallery, so people can go onto your YouTube, onto your Facebook, and just like click on a tab from any website, it'll open a new tab. You can have a look around, subscribe, do all the things that social media.
But I think there's even the opportunity there, as Brian was alluding to, either through a bot or actually, why don't you tell us what you thought of today's visit, the way you would do it visiting a museum, physically to an art gallery. You always, not always, but good practice is you would sign the visitors book at the end.
And then even there's an option, as an artist, there's an option for a PayPal me link if you want to make it, buy me a coffee if you like the exhibition. Yep. And put a proviso that any donation, if you get £3, we'll take that off any of your first purchase. Just little sales techniques that are evolving as this technology evolves. Like that was one
a very nice idea. I like that one, what you've just said there. That's a really nice idea. Yeah. And if you had a personal, we all do have personal charities, but if you had a charity towards it, percentage of that will go towards a charity. And you could even have, I know you have this because I've seen you do this before, you could even have like a ladder where you say, oh, by the way, so far we've raised X amount, your £5 goes in, that gives it a different color. Look where we are now. You could gamify that.
Yeah, because yeah, I've been playing it during the summer. A couple of basically live music in a bar, and if the donations don't keep coming, the music gets gets lower and the stage gets dimmer, which worked quite well because people would donate more, and then like putting 50p in the meter, the music comes back on.
Very
But
good.
but for that, for gamification and for charity, you know, you can have a charity exhibition, have their links at the door. It's it's new technology. It's
Well, I
just
think
breaking
we've
through.
heard a couple of ideas there. Cathal, we have a question from Orla. Orla, thanks. She says, is FYUSE an iOS app, sorry, because she can't find it in the App Store.
Let me just check that.
Yeah. Orla, I'm not sure myself. I used it on an Android phone a couple of years ago.
I know it's Android. Yeah, it's there.
It's Android. It's cross-platform.
I'll get the link. I'll get the link for you in the follow-ups. But
yeah, we'll send you that, Orla. Thanks for your question, or we'll send that. We'll send that through to you. So, that I suppose, Cathal, in terms of just to summarise, we have Artbeamer, and Artbeamer very much is entry level, as is FYUSE. Artbeamer doesn't cost a lot, and I think there is a trial with Artbeamer from right, Cathal.
There is, yeah. You try it. Yeah,
14 day or 20 or a month maybe, but I think it's maybe 14-day trial with Artbeamer. I've used it in the past, and Brian, I know you used it as well down in Greenshoots, and it's really good. Honestly, it's really, really good. FYUSE I haven't used recently, but I have used it in the past, and again, it's very good. So those two, you know, if you do nothing else before you come into Mozilla, get started with those two, and they're very, very easy. On the Mozilla Hubs, you know, we're building out different platforms and different frames. Certainly, we'd be delighted to work with anybody who's in this audience. Like, get in contact with us, with Brian, Cathal, or myself, and we'll be able to certainly help you with that. We have different funding streams that Aislinn's going to talk about shortly. So there's an important thing I am going to say to you, that Cathal will be posting a link in the chat window here if you want to come into a live environment. Cathal, please don't post that just yet, because Aisling will give off. Because Aisling, before we hand over, but Cathal will post the link, and Aisling now is going to be giving us a quick summary of what funding is available. So listen, from myself and Cathal and Brian, thank you very much for today's session. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. We have put a lot, Cathal in particular, has put a lot of effort into today's webinar, and it was the last of 8. We don't have a summer series, and Sarah is very happy about that at the moment, but we will be coming back to you. Please do follow our updates. And Aisling, I'm going to hand over to you because you'll be talking a little bit more about that. Thanks, Aisling.
Okay. Thanks, Kieran and Cathal, for that presentation. Definitely learned a lot from it. It was very informative. I'll not keep you all too long. I'm just here to inform you of some of the funded support that we have available here at the college. Some of you might not be aware that we have the Skills Intervention Programme at the moment, and it's for anyone who's been impacted by COVID-19. So maybe anybody who's been furloughed, made redundant, or impacted in any way can take part in a range of fully funded accredited courses. We're offering lots of different courses under that at the moment. So please, we'll send the link out in the follow-up email. So take a look and see if there's anything of interest to you. We also have the Skills Focus programme, which is funded by the department, and it's for businesses under 250 employees to avail of non-mandatory accredited training. It's a very popular funding stream that we have as well, and some very interesting courses. We've got Innovate Us too, which is funded by the department. This would be probably the most popular funding stream that Cathal and Kieran would work on, and it offers up to 60 hours of mentoring for businesses under 50 employees who have an innovative idea. So maybe an innovative idea that will take a new service, product, or process forward in your business. We also have innovation vouchers, which are funded by Invest NI, and they help small businesses kind of tap into the knowledge that we have available here at the college to help develop solutions in your business as well. Some bigger programs like Fusion, KTPs, and higher level apprenticeships for businesses also. So as you can see, we do have a very wide range of opportunities available. And if you've had training need, no matter how big or small it is, please feel free to contact us. We're open to have a chat with anybody. The email to get us on is betterbusiness@src.ac.uk, and myself or Sarah will pick that up and give you a call and just maybe talk through what your idea is further, to scope it out and see how we can help you. Finally, we're going to be sending out an evaluation after this, and we really appreciate all feedback as it helps us, develop and move forward and improve as we go along. We've all our webinars on our YouTube channel, which we've just launched a few weeks ago. We'd really appreciate if you would go on and have a look and maybe give us a like or a comment, subscribe. There's some really interesting webinars on there, wide range of areas. So please go on and have a look, and hopefully you'll find something of interest to you. If you want to go in now and log in with Kieran and Cathal to the Mozilla Hubs, Cathal will post the link into the chat, and you can get to have a look around the virtual gallery. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay.
That's great, Aisling and Sarah. Thanks very much, and Brian, thank you very much. It's been a real team effort here. So Cathal has the link over on the right. Cathal, is everybody okay to click on that link now?
It's best to join using Chrome browser, I should say. It has best results.
Okay. So as you're doing that, the minute you'll need to come out, you can click on that, and when you're doing that, come out of Teams, Cathal, isn't that right?
Yeah, it will get best results.
Yeah. Okay. So we shall see you in the Mozilla rooms shortly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So are we still live?